Welcome to Startup Delivery TV. I'm your host, Brenda Warren, and today my guest is graphic designer Ms. Valentina Garay of Design Hacks. Valentina, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Brenda. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Oh, we're so happy to have you here at Startup Delivery. And well, let's start off by telling us, how did you get into graphic design?
Well, I guess it's not a point in time where I said I'm just gonna get into it, but it was just more like my life swiftly moved into graphic design. I was actually back in time studying aviation and international business management, and I never really thought about graphic design, but I always liked doodling stuff and I always enjoyed like taking my mother's projects and making them pretty, helping her out. And so little by little, I started doing it more and more. So now, the aviation thing didn't really work out. So I was like kind
Mhm.
of looking for what to do. And somebody came across and she had a project and she kind of needed some help with many things like project management. Within
Mhm.
that, I had to do some graphic design. So I said, let me just enjoy it. Let me take it to the next level. And I started learning more and more. And then I said, you know what? If I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this good and for real. And that's when I decided to go professional and create a brand and just, lead by example and just show a way that entrepreneurs could do the same thing and really like put their idea out into the world for good. Like not just say maybe it will work, let me try this, but really go all in and with all the energy.
So once you decided to go all in with all the energy, is that what gave you your passion to want to help small businesses?
Absolutely. So in the beginning, I didn't know what I wanted to really do. I was like maybe web design, maybe a little bit of logo design, but I was not quite sure. So I said, let me just try a little bit of everything and experiment and see how it goes. And as it happened, I did have the chance to work with two corporations, and that was quite nice. Of course, I'm very grateful for that. But it was
Mhm.
an experience that showed me that I didn't really feel like I was accomplishing much in there. I just felt like I was getting the job done rather than really adding value. Because in corporations, the people who decide if the final design is the one are not necessarily the same people that sit down with you in a meeting, and so the process is tedious and nobody is really excited about it. So it really turned my light down. So I said, you know what, let me just look where I can really make a difference, and that's in projects such as my mother's project, such as this friend of mine, Sandra, that hired me for small projects. And the more and more I started coming across small entrepreneurs that were like, you know what, I'm creating a brand for this and that. And
Mhm.
I realized when people are passionate about what they do, it's contagious. And so you're happy to help them. And more than creating a business model that's, where you earn a lot of money, because normally people would go to big clients, big
Mhm.
corporations, and if you don't enjoy what you do like that, if you're not really making the difference, then it's not sustainable in the long term. So I found that really I am all in for helping startups and entrepreneurs mostly.
So startup deliveries do what you love model really appeal to you?
Oh, since the beginning. So when I met the team at Startup Delivery, I was like, this is so much the universe manifesting itself into me, right? So because when you actually say, this is what I'm gonna do, I've decided I'm gonna help entrepreneurs, then it comes, I come across the team and I meet them and they tell me what Startup Delivery is doing. And
Mhm.
I'm like, yes, I'm in love with the project. I'm all in. Please count me in. And it's those little coincidences that tell you that you're on the right path, that the things the way you're thinking about them are just the way to get them done.
Now, at startup delivery, we're not limited to one state, one city, one country. Where are you located?
Well, I'm located in Lagos, Nigeria at the moment. I came to live here a year ago, so I was back in Bogota, Colombia. So
Mhm.
quite used to the international panorama.
So being in Nigeria hasn't seemed to be a barrier for you to be able to help entrepreneurs all over the world. Is that correct?
Oh, absolutely. See, when you move to a culture that's so different than yours, because Eastern culture is just a whole thing on its own. I thought before the traveling to the US or to Europe, you would meet a new culture. But when you really
Mhm.
go out of that comfort zone, you realize how much of a change it can be. But when you open your heart and when you say, let me actually understand this culture, let me embrace it, that's when you see all the beautiful things. And one of the most beautiful things I found in the Nigerian culture is their spirit and their great attitude to always like be smiling about it. So naturally, there are a lot of entrepreneurs here, and they sell all sorts of little things, and they always find their way through. And so, and it's just everybody pushes you to and tells you you can do it. Yes, you can do it. You don't need to have 15 years of expertise. Just go out and do it, and make it happen. And if it's not perfect, then work on improving it. But just take that step.
So, what is one of the most interesting projects you've done so far for startup delivery?
Well, for startup delivery, I was actually quite excited because I said when I spoke to the team, they told me, okay, we're looking for you to do this and this, and I said, okay, I might not have done some of those things before, but I'm quite excited to learn how to do it. So
Mhm.
as long as that's clear, the pressure's off, and I'm not, saying I can do something I can't. I'm like with through open feedback all the time, sharing everything I'm doing. I am happy because people tell me yes I like it, no I don't like it, and then we work on it together. It's basically a co-creative experience, right?
Mhm.
So with that being said, my favorite project so far has been designing the Startup Delivery T-shirt because it's the first T-shirt I have actually designed, and
Mhm.
just to see how much people liked it and how we said, okay, we can have this version and that version and one that's more serious and one that's more artistic. I guess that would have been one of the things that made me the most excited to learn how to do and just to see
Mhm.
how people liked it.
Mhm.
And to know that it's a product that you can cast out there into the world, right? Because once you design it, you go and take it to the printer and then you have your t-shirt. So once that's done, to see your design made real, and to be, in partnership with somebody else who
Mhm.
had their dream become true, become physical, it's just fantastic.
So, have you found it pretty easy to work with the team?
Well, honestly, in my opinion, if you ask me, I don't think there's anything difficult in this world. So
Mhm.
once you overcome the barrier of your own limitations, and what I consider my own limitations is my maybe laziness or my bad attitude, or sometimes I want to do something, somebody wants
Mhm.
me to do something that I don't want to do, so I get a bit angry.
Mhm.
Those are the things that make things difficult, right? But when
Mhm.
everybody's on the right mood, on the right vibration, everybody's open to collaborate. We all know that we all forget things, make mistakes, but we're there to catch each other, right? I'm like, hey,
Mhm.
let me help you with this, or I know you forgot that. Why don't I help you with this? The whole team is mostly on that vibe, and that really has helped us overcome time differences because we have like Japan, Europe, California, New York, all sorts of time zones here. So
Mhm.
that plus the culture, plus working with a whole new team that you don't know and you will not get the chance to physically meet in person, or
Mhm.
not for the short term. That was quite a jump to make, but so far it's been great. I think with the right attitude and just finding this hub of people, the way we met each other, it was really like we were all aligned into just making this world a better place, and making it sustainable, right? So helping the world and the world helping us back.
Okay, well, Valentina, we're going to take a brief commercial break right here, and then we'll be right back. Join us right after the break. Welcome back to Startup Delivery TV. I'm your host, Brenda Warren, and I'm here still with my wonderful guest, Miss Valentina Garay of Design Hacks. Valentina, before the break, we were talking about what it was like to work with a team, and you mentioned the time zones. What has been the biggest barrier for you with all the time zone differences? I do see, like for us, just getting this interview, I'm East Coast time, so that was a little challenging. How has that been for you as a designer, having to work with maybe possible changes in designs or customer service? How have you handled that?
Well, the biggest challenge in general terms working with the team has been the fact that we do need to set up meetings where we all get together and decide on big things, right? These meetings, there will absolutely not be one time zone that will work for everybody. So we
Mm-hmm.
decided to do two time zones. And because we do two time zones, zones, some of
Mm-hmm.
us miss half of those meetings. So trying to catch up and ask the right questions because you don't know what you don't know, right? You don't know what you missed.
Mm-hmm.
So asking those right questions and make sure you stay on track, that you really collaborate and you don't become a burden for the rest of the team. I think that would be one of the biggest challenges and probably the only one because on the other hand, on the really bright positive side, when you work as a freelance and design is just a career where you can really do as you please. If you're a night
Mm-hmm.
owl, you just work in the evening. If you're a morning person like I am, I know that
Mm-hmm.
I tackle my hardest task in the morning, so I
Mm-hmm.
try to schedule my meetings around the evening. And in the evening, normally I'm more slowed down, but my creative energy is at top. So when I have a design project, I try to do it then, or a meeting with somebody. That's perfect because East Coast is just waking up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So basically, I think it has just fit in perfectly that way. And the little, let's say, negative side or the little challenges we have definitely been able to overtake. And as long as you manage your time, you set your own deadlines and you stick to them, I really think you can make it work.
Now, for me, working with startup delivery, I have noticed we use a lot of technology. We use Setmore, Telegram, Airtable, Candidly, and Gmail. How have you found using these different technologies as an entrepreneur to keep you connected with the team work for you?
The way I am, or I'd say my personality, I'm always very curious. And I have this little like obsession, like what puts the fire in my belly is to declutter and organize.
Mm-hmm.
So when I started learning about tools like Airtable, I was like, oh my gosh, what is this? I so want to learn how to use it. And
Mm-hmm.
now I'm tracking my absolutely everything with Airtable, like the books I have read, the books I want to read, not only for work, but
Mm-hmm.
also using it for my personal life. So without this team of people who are constantly looking for the best tools, I wouldn't have come across Airtable, and now I absolutely love it. There are some other tools like Setmore, which is to
Mm-hmm.
schedule meetings, right?
Mm-hmm.
And those have been, let's say, more complicated for me, but there's always somebody willing to help you with those that really kick you in the belly, right? And you will always be there to help somebody with those that kick them in the belly.
Mm-hmm.
For the rest, I think technology is honestly what makes this possible, what makes, a group of people in whole different countries able to work is just to do this, to be organized. I wish I could say, and that would be like a lie, that we're like 100% up and running, but that's part of the fun to actually, configure the whole thing and make sure it's working. Because sometimes you
Mm-hmm.
configure it and you're like, okay, actually, I did not click this or that. Sorry, guys.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's part of the whole fun of a project, right? Of starting up a new project such as startup delivery.
So would you say that with all the technology, the learning curve for you has not been as hard because there's been people available to help you when you found yourself in a challenging position with a piece of technology?
Definitely. I'm naturally very, I'm a learner. So I sit down and I learn by myself, and that's kind of the kind of person I am. But whenever I have come across something that I really don't feel, or it really, I just don't get it, there's always somebody saying, like, okay, don't worry, let's just get in a quick meeting and I'll just show it to you. And I appreciate that. So I've been trying to make some time on my calendar to be available to do the same for somebody else who might need the same. And so far, I haven't had the need so
Mm-hmm.
much because I just happen to find the tools very intuitive. And
Mm-hmm.
the more the world evolves into digital, which is what we're on right now because of the COVID pandemic, the more these companies accelerate and hyper accelerate the way that they grow and they become more intuitive, more easy to use.
Hmm.
And the more people know how to use it, the people that are really having a hard time, they have more people to get a hold of to help them. So I think we're really just in a very speed or fast lane on the learning curve.
So, as an
And
entrepreneur, then you feel that the services that you've received from Startup Delivery has helped your business grow and be able to function in a way that is uh, more productive for you.
look, definitely, I think from any encounter, from any experience you have, you can either set up yourself for looking to the negative things or just think that nothing is making a change, or you can set up yourself to just really learn from every single second of your life. And ever since I started in startup delivery, I've learned new tools. I've met new people that know things about how to do a business plan right, or about how to be a better manager. Things that maybe I'm not a manager right now with my design hacks project, but they are things that, as a personal development, it's important to keep them in mind. So from everybody, you can learn something, and maybe somebody might not be as good with people skills as
Mhm.
another person, right? But that person that's not as good with people skills is very good with technology skills. So
Mm.
just understand the strongest point of everybody rather than focus on the weaknesses, because you yourself, you also have strong points and you have weaknesses. So if you nurture those strong points and you go to those strong points, and whenever there's a weakness, you just shift, you just accept and not look at it, then you can really construct far more, you learn more, and you teach others more.
Well, finally, I'd like to ask you about the networking aspect of Startup Delivery. I've noticed that they use several ways to network with the other members of the group. How have you found the networking?
Oh my gosh, it's so big, I can barely keep up. So the few times that I have been able to join the networking sessions, the co-creation sessions, and just be on top of the chat, it's been fantastic because people always come up with just fantastic ideas, things that you thought you had it right, and then you're like, oh wait, I could be doing that right. In reality, I don't have the time to be on top of it the whole time, and I don't think anybody has, because sometimes we're set up for learning and getting advice and getting help and networking, and sometimes we just need to sit down and execute and focus on our company and on you know applying all those things we learned from the networking and from the co-creation experiences. But that's what the community is for. You come when you can come, you come when you need something, you come when you have the time and you feel like you can help others, because that's what it does. The tribe gives you back. It's going to be some days that you come and help a lot of people, and some days that they come and help you solve an issue. And creating contacts, you realize that the networking power is not as simple and as basic as, hey, Brenda, you need a design, let me do it for you. It
Mhm.
goes all the way into developing a relationship in which years or months afterwards you can develop a whole new thing that you didn't even think about in the beginning.
Mhm.
So far, that's what Startup Delivery has given me, just like this hub in which to grow, in which to take ideas for my company, in which to meet new people, for startup delivery projects or for projects outside, or just to improve my skill. It's just fantastic, the power of networking.
So, Valentina, for a young entrepreneur or an older entrepreneur that came to you and said, Valentina, I just want to do what I love, how would you tell them Startup Delivery can help them?
Well, startup delivery, as my favorite team member said, is the one stop shop for entrepreneurs. So, if as an entrepreneur you are worried about where to start, what to do, or you're just confused, or you just need somebody to take your hand and walk with you, Startup Delivery is your place to go. You don't need to have even like a set or defined worry or concern or question. Just you say, you look, well, I'm stuck, or I don't know how to do this, or I'm concerned about the legal part, the copyright, the I don't know how to make my team work, I don't know how to start hiring people, I don't know how to do with the tax. It is a community that will definitely move sky and beyond to help you find what you need to help you make your idea a reality, and basically to also help you meet the people that will help you along the way. So it's community, and as humans we are here to be in community. Nobody can get anywhere on their own, so nothing stronger than a community that will nurture your business.
Well, Valentino, there's nothing else to be said after that. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank you for joining Valentina and myself, Brenda Warren, here at Startup Delivery TV. We hope you will come back because if you want to do what you love, Startup Delivery is the place to do it. Be blessed, everyone.
Thank you, Brenda.
Bye bye.